All right, so in today's video, we are going to be going over the Frieren and Stark kits. So, we're going to get right into it. Intro right here. If you are brand new to playing GS, like you're playing because Frieren, because of this crossover, you need to watch my guide. It is the best guide you will find on YouTube, I promise. It goes over the entire game. Everything you need to know. Even if you're not new, you should definitely watch this. You will learn something. It is the best guide in the game. I promise. All right. And then if you are starting because of Frieren, you need to re-roll until you get Frieren. Ideally, you get Frieren and Stark. I mean, if you're playing because of Frieren, you're going to want both of them because, cool. But definitely get Frieren. Stark is going to be one of the most fun units in the game, in my opinion. But Frieren is going to be one of the best units in the game. And then if you are not a new player and you have pity saved up, Frieren is probably going to be the pity. I can't tell you for sure because I don't know what Fern and Ubel's kits are. So they might be better. I doubt it, but there's a chance. You never know. Um, so what I'm going to recommend is if you do have a pity saved up, this is probably what I'm going to do. I'm only going to spend 750 gems on the first banner. And then I'm going to wait until their kits come out. Like, I'm not just going to spend 1,500 pity fucking Frieren before everything's all over. That's not a good idea because what if Fern and Ubel are kind of crazy? I might want to, at least save 750. Maybe I could get one of them and then still pity Frieren. I mean, I think it's worth waiting like 2 weeks, but your gems, do whatever you want. But if you get Frieren, I'd just stop and wait for part 2. But most likely, there's going to be another pity-worthy unit. Frieren and Stark are both very good, but if you are not new and you don't have a pity saved, you better start praying. You better start praying. I mean, these units are good, and I will not be surprised if Fern and Ubel are also very good. This is a pretty big IP for Grand Summoners, so they're going to want, like, this is going to bring in a bunch of players, and they're going to want these units to be good and last a long time. So I would not be surprised if the other two in this crossover are going to be crazy, but we're going to get right into it. So first thing we're going to go over is some notable equips from this crossover. There's only 3 from part 1. So we have the Holy Emblem, which is going to be a 30-second cooldown, and it's going to increase all allies' arts by 30, and for 10 seconds, increase human and spirits damage by 30%. Pretty standard equip, really solid support equip. Can't go wrong with it. That's pretty much it. It's nothing too crazy. It's just really good. And then Stark's outfit on a 30-second cooldown. Oh, by the way, the Holy Emblem was a 5-star support. Stark's outfit is a 5-star defense. 30-second cooldown. For 20 seconds, increase all allies' physical res by 30%. If user is human, increase by 45% instead. So, this is a really good equip. Like, Ro-Os from Fate is the same thing, but magic. And it's solid. This is going to be one of the best defense equips in the game. Like, if you were ever going up against a physical fight and you have this equip, you're set. You're just taking like half damage. It's crazy. Really solid. Try and get it if you can. If you don't really like summoning for equips, it's whatever. But if you're a little low on equips, especially on defense equips, try and get Stark's outfit. It's going to be really good. And then Eisen's Axe is a farmable equip. So this one's free. Everybody can get it. You can get multiple copies of it. Max it out super easily. Going to be on a 60-second cooldown and increase own arts by 30, and for 15 seconds, increase physical damage by 40%. So it's nothing crazy, but it is free and farmable, so definitely a couple of them. Going to be really good for newer players. It's just awesome. But this crossover is a little weird because you won't be able to use any Frieren crossover equips on Frieren crossover units that aren't designed for that unit. So the Holy Emblem, for the 4 Frieren units, you can only use that on Frieren. Like, you can use it on any other GS unit. Just for this crossover specifically, the Holy Emblem can only be used on Frieren. Stark's outfit can only be used on Stark. Ubel's equips can only be used on Ubel. Fern's equips can only be used on Fern. And then any of the equips that aren't specifically designed for them, like Eisen's Axe from this crossover, they cannot be used on these units. It's very silly, but this is because of lore implications. I'm guessing when they did the crossover, there was like, you can't do this because blah, 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 blah. and they're like, whatever, we get Frieren in the game, that's awesome. But it's not that big of a deal. But for newer players, it's going to be kind of unfortunate. But we'll figure it out. And then next up is going to be Starks kit. Getting right into it, he is a fire human with a 5-star physical, 5-star defense, 4-star physical. And then I think it was a 4-star defense. I don't know. I don't have it written down. So it's on the screen, but you can see at LB7. And then his skill, for 10 seconds, everyone gets a 1k damage barrier. And the first time he uses it, he gets 100 arts. So pretty solid. Going to get a little bit of a jump start there and give the whole team a little tiny damage barrier. So I mean, it's a little helpful. Like, it's cool. I'm not going to complain about it, but I would like it if instead of the 100 arts immediately, it was just like 30 arts every time. But whatever. His art for 25 seconds increase all ally stats by 30%. So 30% attack, 30% defense, and the best part, 30% heal. Hype. True art for 30 seconds increase own arts by 5 a second, stackable. And increases next super art damage and break power by 200%, stacks up to 5 times. So the way they have it worded here is weird, but the way I worded it just makes a lot more sense in my opinion. And that's just how it works. So for 30 seconds, he's going to increase his arts by 5 a second. Stacks. Awesome. He's just going to get a ton of arts. And then every time you use that true art, he's going to get 200% damage and break power up on his super art. And it stacks 5 times. So on his super art, he's going to be hitting really hard and breaking a ton. So let's get into that super art. It's going to have a 200,000% multiplier. One of the biggest ones in the game. Hype. W. It has 3k break, which is very low. But I'm guessing when you add 1,000% break power up, it's going to go a little crazy. I don't know how crazy. I wouldn't say he's going to be a great breaker, but I won't know until he's out. So, But for 20 seconds, reduce enemies' physical res by 150%. So 200,000 multiplier with a 1,000% damage up and 150% res down. He's going to hit hard. And we haven't even gotten to his passives yet. So when near death, for 20 seconds, increase all allies' damage res by 50% and arts by 5 a second. That's hype. That's just a really good passive. Like, he's just going to make the team super survivable, and then combine that with his skill. You got 50% DR, 1k damage barrier. That's hype. And then he's going to increase his own damage by 3% of attack divided by 100. So the at max attack, I mean, that's a 300% damage boost. That's a lot of damage. So now we have a 300% damage boost with a 1,000% damage up on his super art with a 150% res down. And he also has increased damage to enemies and break by 50%. So throw that all together, and this man is going to hit so hard. It's going to be stupid, and I love it. But his true weapon is going to be a 5-star physical. For 10 seconds, increase physical damage by 50%. If unit is fire, increase attack by 50%. Passive, increase AC by 30%, and arts by 2 arts a second. So probably going to be best in slot. Sometimes you could get away with running like Delta's true equip just for a little bit more damage if you're just nuking with him. But that AC up and that 2 arts a second is going to make him like just better. Like, he's just going to be able to spam more true arts with that. And that's pretty much his kit. So how would you use his kit? I would just spam true arts to stack the damage buff until you need it. And then you would just use the super art whenever you need it. So like, even if you're at 3 stacks, but if you need the super art, it's probably going to clear any threshold in the game. This is going to do so much damage. Like, you don't realize how much damage this is going to do. It's going to be dumb. It's going to be so dumb. But it's going to be really fun. He's going to be one of the most fun units in the game, especially if you have a super good arch-genning team. Like, if you have a team that can arch-gen like crazy, this is going to be so fun. And he will probably charge the hardest hitting super art in the game. Like, Hajime, his nuke, it's the fastest. It's the one of probably the highest damaging super art right now. And it's so super fast. You literally just get 300 arts, super art, the boss is gone. But with this one, like, you are charging this. This is gonna hit hard. Like, too hard. You will never need this much damage. Ever. But I'm here for it. I love big numbers. And his team comps, it really doesn't matter. He's the DPS. You kind of just like build your buffs around him. But you're gonna want some like, just tons of arch gen is probably best. Just to, spam as many true arts and super arts as you can. And then just keeping him alive is important. So like if you bring somebody who can either heal or somebody with a damage barrier, some DR, that's it. Just make the team comp around him. He's going to do so much damage. He's going to be so good for you. And I'm so here for the stupid DPS. But I'm going to run him with Kirasame, Summer Iris, and Sunraku. So that's my team comp with him. If I get him, hopefully I do, because I love units like these. He's going to be so fun to use. And now, the time you've all been waiting for. I've been like speeding through this video, trying to make it as fast as possible, just so we could get here. Frieren's kit. So Frieren is going to be a light spirit with a 6-star magic, 5-star support, and 5-star magic with a 5-star defense at LB7. Honestly, I might get her to LB7 because 5-star defense is kind of crazy. I love 655 units. They're so busted. But her skill is going to heal her own status ailment, except the ones that prevent her from using her skill. So like, if she's fainted, if she's frozen, if she's paralyzed, she can't use her skill, so she can't cleanse herself with her skill. And it's also going to cleanse a random team member's damage res debuff. So this is broken, and I will explain it in a second. But her art, each time, this is the craziest part of her kit. Each time art is used, increase all ally stats by 10% permanently. Permanently. This lasts forever. And it goes up to 60%. Like, So now everybody on your team will have a maxed out attack stat, most likely, at 10k. And then you will be much tankier. And most importantly, you will have a shit ton of HP. Like a dumb amount for the entire fight. This is broken. And I love it. This is so stupid. And then her true art combined with this. Her true art, bro, she's going to be one of the best units in the game. So, true art. For 20 seconds, all allies get 6 arts a second. Okay? Hype. And then for allies with 10k HP or more, they are going to get an extra 2. So the whole squad's getting 8 arts a second just from her true art. Unfortunately, it is type E, but, the whole squad's going to have 20,000 HP. Whole squad's going to get 8 arts a second. She's busted. And then the super art, if you run her on mono light, this is broken. Mono light is so stupid. But it has 180,000% multiplier, so she's going to be hitting pretty hard herself. But for 20 seconds, increase light allies damage by 200%, and light allies with 10k HP get 200% more. So 400% damage boost off one super art is a little silly. That is so much damage. If you run her with a light DPS, they're going to be hitting so hard. So, her abilities, when Frieren is above 50% HP, the whole team gets defense ignore, and increase own damage against demon enemies by 50%, and increase own arts by 3 a second. So, her arts is crazy. She's going to be hitting a little bit hard. Whole team gets defense ignore. That's such a good passive. If the boss can't be crit, you already have a defense ignore. Good. But her true weapon is going to be a 5-star magic on a 60-second cooldown. For 10 seconds, reduce enemies' damage res by 40%. So it's like 20% and then 10% more if it's light, 10% more if spirit. So I would literally only ever use this on Frieren, but you're probably going to want to use it on Frieren because the passive is Frieren gets 30% more at max HP and 2 arts a second. So she's going to have like a dumb amount of health, like 25,000 HP. She's going to be up there. It's going to be crazy. So the way I would use her kit is I would just true art and art cycle, and then super art once you get to the boss. And only super art once all your light allies have 10k HP. Because if you're super arting just for that 200% damage buff, it's not going to be like too crazy. But once they all have 10k HP, you're doing a 400% damage buff. That's a little silly. But getting that 60% HP is stupid. But Her skill is really good because damage taken up debuffs are like literally the only thing that can kill you in a good team comp, unless you get like fainted or something. But if she cleanses them, it's no longer a problem. And with 60% more HP, you literally will not die. Like, she's busted. She's going to make the whole team so healthy. Like, she doesn't have any heals on her kit, which is so sad. But if you just pair her with somebody who does have heals, you're fine. Especially percentage-based heals, you just win. So, team comps. Literally any of them. Her art and true art are so stupid, and they're going to work with every team. But specifically, she will perform the best on a team with a light DPS. So, Hero Saitama, Kenshin, and for your newer players, the next crossover is going to be a certain magical index. So, Misaka Makoto will pair very well with Frieren, and she will hit so hard. They will, like, the whole light team is just going to be smacking with Frieren. So, the notable light comps, like, the best current one is probably going to be Kenshin, Hero Saitama, Islid, and Frieren. Just tons of arch gen, tons of damage, tons of survivability. This team is busted. And then in the future, like, maybe you didn't get those units, but in the future, it is not grim. It is not grim. You can get SGL, Misaka Makoto, Index, and Frieren. And that team is going to do so much damage, and they will be healthy. So, I mean, she's one of the best units in the game. Like, I got to put her on the tier list. Eventually, that video will come out later, but you need to get her. You need to get her. You need to get Stark too. Stark, he's not the greatest, but he will be one of the most fun units in the game. So, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're new, even if you're not new, if you haven't watched it, go watch that beginner's guide. It's not even a beginner's guide. It's literally just a guide on Grand Summoners. It is the entire game. Start to finish, the entire game in one video. How to play, how to beat it. It's the best video you will find, I promise. But yeah, that's it. See ya.